Oh yes, I love it. I kid. Oh boy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Robert Kid 1937 here. The kid is back. The kid is back with my brand new Broadway Limited steam locomotive. Okay, I'm messing with the NT power cab here. Let's see. Let's press the recall. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, may I say that this has to be probably either my most favorite steam locomotive that I own right now, or my second favorite steam locomotive. The one that I had before that I love is so near and dear to my heart. I bought it at the train show for $150 last show. It is my 2662 Bachmann Spectrum DCC and Sound steam locomotive. I love this one. Whistle on it is amazing. Anyone who has one knows what I'm talking about. But this locomotive right here, this bad boy, is nice. First of all, let me give you a little bit of a backstory. Now, what most people will do in their reviews, they'll tell you a little bit about the history of the train. I'm not going to do that. I don't need to do that. If you guys want to know the history about the New York Central Hudson, the J1e Hudson, go ahead, look at that in your own time. I prefer to tell you guys the story of how I came to buy this locomotive. So I was on eBay, and keep in mind there's a train show literally in 5 days. Okay, this is counting my. You saw the other video, 6-day countdown. 6 days left. That was yesterday. 5 days left now. 5 days left. Got this. Oh my gosh. I know a lot of you thinking, why are you buying stuff before the show? Well, this is an offer that I couldn't pass up. First off, this locomotive right here, I'd actually bid on eBay, and I'd lost. Okay. The bidder that outbid me, he had a hidden bid, and it must have gone all the way up to at least $200, and the auction had gone all the way up to 172, and once I got there, I'm like, you know what, forget it, I'm not going any higher. But the auction went up to 172. That's just for the locomotive itself, and $20 shipping. So the guy was actually going to pay $192. Now, what's interesting is before I had actually bid, I sent the seller a question: is this a Paragon 1 or a Paragon 2? Never didn't get a reply until the auction had ended. The message was basically the woman who was selling the train. She was saying how these were her husband's trains. She apologized that she didn't get back to me sooner, but she's just learning how to do eBay, blah blah blah. But she said that the person who had bought the train didn't want to go through with the auction because because she told him that the train didn't come with the box. Okay, he didn't want the train because it didn't come with the box. Well, I'm like, sucker, I don't care. I said, oh really? I said, well, how about this? And how about I go ahead and buy it from you, take it off your hands for $175, that price including shipping. Right after I sent that message, I went back to her eBay page and noticed that she had actually put the train back up for auction. And I had also noticed that the train had a $150 buy it now price plus $20 shipping. So I actually paid $5 less than what I was willing to pay for, and I was very thrilled. Now, the second part of the story, yes, there's a second part. This part is funny. For some reason, I was thinking Broadway Limited never made a Paragon 1 J1e Hudson. Okay, I just didn't think Paragon 1 even existed. I'm thinking, oh, they had Paragon 2 and just completely skipped Paragon 1. Why I thought that, you might ask? Well, because I didn't see any evidence for a Paragon 1. I went on Broadway Limited's website. They didn't have a section for any Paragon 1 trains. Later, I found out that was because they were discontinued. Also, on YouTube, didn't see any Paragon 1 trains until about 2 hours after I had bought the engine. I saw Paragon 1 Hudson. I'm like, oh crap, this is not the same thing as what I thought it was. I thought it was a Paragon 2, with the puffing smoke and the deeper chuffing and the quillable whistle and all that good stuff. Wasn't that one. I was so disappointed. I showed my grandfather. I told him, yeah, this is the one I bought instead. He's like, what's wrong with you? He said, that one's real nice. He's like, keep that. He's like, don't send that one back. That's a really nice engine. You should keep that. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, keep it. I'm like, all right. Look, when your grandfather tells you to do something, you do it, okay? Especially when it comes to trains, he knows. And I am so happy that I listened to him, because this is probably the most gorgeous steam locomotive that I own. I am just so happy. it's just amazing. The sound, you know, I saw a few videos on YouTube, and honestly, it doesn't do it. The videos will not do this train enough justice. You have to actually have one for yourself to understand the full awesomeness of this engine. I am just so, I cannot tell you how excited I am. And as a matter of fact, we're having an open house at my train club next month, and guess what I'm going to be running, along with my 3 other steam engines. That's going to be so much fun. Looking forward to that too. At any rate, on to the actual review. This train is so cool, and I think I've stressed that quite a bit in this video, but I cannot stress it enough. This train is freaking awesome, man. Freaking awesome. What most people will do at this point in the video, they'll go and they'll go over the details. I'll go over the details with you briefly. There's a bell here, a whistle here, a smokestack, a light, a cow catcher, and coal. And it's a steam engine. Got it? Good. Okay. The reason why, you guys, the reason why I'm not going over a lot of the details is because, one, I do not know the technical terms for a lot of the details on the train, and two, I don't really concern myself with separately applied details and a lot of that other stuff. If it's molded in, that's fine. If it's separately applied, that's even freaking better. I mean, I do love detail on my locomotives. That does play a big part, but what I concern myself mostly with is sound. Okay, if the train doesn't sound good, not gonna buy it. It could look awesome. Okay, for instance, there's a few Broadway Limited Big Boys. So Broadway Limited Big Boy, and there's also, I believe, what is it, an Athearn Big Boy. And they're both nice as far as details are concerned, but their sounds are not good. I do not like the sounds of either one of the big boys. Now, an NTH Big Boy has what I'm looking for, and that's what I'm going to try and pick up at the next show. If anyone goes to the show and takes my big boy that I'm looking for, I will personally visit your house with a machete and be looking for my engine. Thank you. Not really. At any rate, I want to go over the sounds of this engine. This is just gorgeous. I love these sounds. Okay, so when I first opened up the locomotive, I didn't understand why it wasn't powering on. Well, in order to power on the train, you have to dial in its address. And luckily, all I have to do is press the recall button on my NC power cab here, and the locomotive should turn on. And it's not turning on yet because I have the throttle up. Okay, there we go. It's nice. I love that. I like that sound. You know what? This is what I want to talk about first. Steam engines, for me, I love steam engines. Okay, steam engines are my favorite types of trains. A steam engine has to have nice idling sound effects. This locomotive right here has that nice, subtle hissing sound. I love that. I love that sound. And this steam locomotive just embodies that perfect, subtle hissing sound, along with the different breathing. Different types of breaths. I like to call them breaths. Different types of breaths that like you'll hear right there. Those breaths that a steam locomotive takes. I do prefer the NTH model's breaths that. But this one does a nice job too. It's something different. Gives you a lot of variety for your layout. I don't like all my steam engines to sound the same. I don't like a lot of my trains to sound the same. I like variety, and this locomotive definitely gives me some variety, especially when I have 2 Packman Spectrum steam locomotives. Moving on, the next part I just show you in the dark. So we'll do this. This is something that I wish NTH had done with their locomotives. I'm going to turn the headlight on, okay? Now listen. Now, I don't know if you heard that, but basically what had happened was the dynamo came on as the headlight started to brighten, okay? And what I like is the gradual brightness of the headlight. I don't like that quick snap. Oh yeah, I'm a headlight and I'm on. I like that. Oh, I'm waking up. Bam, there I am. And you know, you hear the whine of the dynamo. You hear the dynamo winding up. You hear the electricity going in the locomotive. I love that. And when I first did that, I was so impressed with that. How prototypical that was. It was great. I really did love that. Now, another pet peeve that I have is steam locomotives that do not have 4 chuffs per revolution. If I see a steam locomotive that goes it drives me literally insane. I cannot tell you how many times I've been down at the train club and I have meticulously just been sitting there trying to adjust the CVs on my back and the spectrums to make sure that they're exactly 1 chuff per revolution. And I will literally go insane just looking at the wheels spin over and over again. I'll become so paranoid that I'll reprogram the CVs too much where they get completely out of whack from the engine itself, out of sync, I should say, excuse me. And it becomes ridiculous. But with this locomotive, it has its 4 chuffs per revolution, and I really like that. And also, another pet peeve that I have is horrible chuffing sounds. Chuffing sounds when the chuff rate gets to a certain point, it sounds like a motorboat or a car. Don't have that problem with this train. I don't think that usually happens when you run a steam engine really fast. I don't run my steam engines very fast. I like them at a nice medium pace. I usually keep them anywhere from probably around 30 to 40 scale miles an hour. I think that's a nice pace for a steam motor. You know, nothing. I don't like that real fast stuff. Don't run my trains like that very often. Not even my diesels. At any rate, I want to let you hear the chuffing sound. Gosh, is awesome. My grandfather, when we came down here, we put this on the track. We ran it for a little bit, and he thought that just sounded so nice. So I'm going to switch directions. Headlight came on. Okay, next thing I want to show you is the whistle. The biggest pet peeve I have, oh my gosh, next to the chuffing, so this is my second biggest pet peeve, is the whistle, okay? This whistle is the embodiment of steam locomotives that have a nice echo to them. This whistle is amazing. I love it because it sounds like you're off in the mountains. This engine's off in the mountains somewhere. You're listening to it from a distance. I love that nice echo that it gives. I like my steam locomotives to have an echo to their whistle after you blow them. And once again, that just sounds so nice, especially when you're running around the track and you're blowing it from a distance. Oh, just awesome. Next thing is the bell. Now the bell is okay. I mean, it's realistic. Don't get me wrong, it's realistic. But I prefer MTH's bell. For instance, not the one they have in the Daylight, but the one they have in the Big Boy, the Challenger, and the North Paragon Western J. Those 3 locomotives, they have the same bell. I love that bell. It sounds really nice. But this bell also impressed me as well. Okay, I'm going to shut off the bell. Okay, I'm going to press the bell button on my NC power cab right here, and I want you to listen. It gradually cuts off. It takes 4 rings of the bell to actually cut the entire bell off, and I thought that was a nice touch. And honestly, that beats out MTH's bell sound effects because that's so prototypical, so realistic, so nice. So, what do all these sounds sound like together? Well, let's just give you a little demonstration here. I just love that whistle. It's so nice. Now the whistle on the Paragon 2, honestly the Paragon 2 overall is a nicer locomotive, but this one was hard. For 170 bucks, it was really hard to pass up. Even though I still thought it was a Paragon 2. But I'm so happy with this decision that I made, or my grandfather made for me. Wisdom is the son of a gun sometimes, I tell you. Give him that. Now, there are also 10 other functions on here that I'm not going to mention because if you are looking to buy this locomotive, I want you to be able to explore them for yourself. Basically, this has a standard QSI decoder. It has a lot of the same sound effects that my diesel locomotive has, but of course some that are unique to steam engines. But I'm not going to get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm running out of time. If you're into steam locomotives, buy it. If you're into HO, buy it. If you're into diesel locomotives, buy it. If you're an O-gauge guy, buy one of these anyway. Paragon 1 or Paragon 2, you will not go wrong with buying this steam locomotive. I kid you not. Anyway, Railroad Kid 1937, signing out as always.